One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm standing at the crossroads. I'm feeling like a lost soul. Don't know where I wanna go, but all I know is I wanna be free. They're telling me to let it be, but that just ain't in me, no. Jealousy and envy, but all I see is I wanna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Don't let it get the most of me. Eventually, I'm gonna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna be free. Let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I told them take their aim off me. Stop trying to get a name off me. If they would just let me be, I'm gonna be free. I told them take them chains off me and throw away the locks and keys. If they would just let me be, eventually I'm gonna be free.
They're back.
What up, though? 7 days and went by, and now we back again for another episode of the Diamond Effect. I'm Marsh Bishop. We got Mike Ball. We got Aaron Olinger, and we got a couple stories tonight that we're gonna talk about and try to get to the bottom of it. Everybody has their own opinion about it, so we're gonna stress it out. And if you want us in the comments, got any questions, what comments, whatever, pull them up. We'll try to answer the questions. If we know it, we'll answer it. If we don't know it, we'll look it up and we'll get you the answer. But before we jump into this story, like always, we check to see what everybody done for the week. So we'll start with you, Aaron. What's up, brother? How you been? How was your week?
It was restful. I had a doctor's appointment I had to go to. Been feeling a little under the weather, so I had to go get myself straightened out. But I'm feeling pretty good today, so I'm back on top, and I'm happy with that.
Health is important, man. You got to make sure you're all right, especially with all the shit that's going down, right? You got to be ready at any time, you know? This last week, it's actually been fairly chill for me in a certain aspect, but another one, I'm going to be performing tomorrow night with a buddy of mine, not too far away from where I live. And this is going to be the first start of like 7-8 shows. And our last show that is on this little tour that we're doing ends at the Hard Rock Cafe in Nashville. So it's going to be a great time. But basically, it's been him coming over, us rehearsing and practicing and all that stuff. So, but yeah, we're starting up tomorrow. Be the first show of the bunch.
What kind of show is it?
Well, he's a music performer. You know what I mean? He's a singer songwriter, and so me and him have collaborated together and come together. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
That's cool. That's real good. Well, let's see. Same as always. More work, and like I said, I got a couple things brewing that I'm working on at the same time, trying to make something happen. But like I said, it's a lot of good things been going on. Like I said, I thank God for that. And it's I'll have more to say here in a couple of weeks about it, but right now like I said, a lot of stuff is going good. For those that was asking about movie Riding Dirty Part 1 and Part 2 will be on the streaming apps in May. They said, from what I got, they said May 1st, but it may, that's what they're saying, that it's supposed to be out May 1st. So Part 1 and Part 2 will be out in May.
Hell yeah.
Standing on Business is complete. They're planning a red carpet. They haven't put out the actual date to the red carpet. You missed the first one, Mike. You're gonna have to get to this one, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to do this.
And then that one is going straight out right after that. Actually, that stuff there has already been it's already been registered through IMDb and all that now, because I just seen my credits for it.
Damn, look at you.
So that's already out. And then we got the Nazi Truth that we're working on now, and then R&B shortly after that, and then it's a couple more.
Man, you got a lot of shit up your sleeve, homie.
Yeah,
you got a lot of stuff.
I'm moving around.
That's awesome.
They say if you want to do something you never did, if you want to be somewhere you never been, you got to do something you never done.
Yep, true.
So that's what I'm doing. And long as these doors keep opening, I'm gonna keep walking through them.
Yes, you have to, definitely. So, it's what am I gonna do? Say no?
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna be doing this.
Right. But like even with this, like I said before, there's a lot of stuff that I wasn't even anticipating on doing, but it's doing, and it's working out good. So like I said, I thank God every day for giving me the ability to be able to do that. So, so with y'all support, we're gonna keep it pushing, and we're gonna, like I said, hopefully here in the next couple of weeks, I'll have some more news for you for some more stuff that's coming in. But like I said, everything's looking good. So, so this week we're gonna talk about a couple different things. I had seen the other day that they had put out of a possible attacks on hospitals here in the U.S. So the American Hospital Association and the Health ISAC has been alerting hospitals through different posts and communication about a multi-series attack in hospitals in the coming weeks. So a lot of this came from the group ISIS, and generally terrorist groups don't really publicize upcoming attacks.
Right.
But with the widely viewed posts that's been going on and the stuff that's going on and everywhere else in different sectors, it's been put out. And they were talking about that these people may be scanning hospitals in different areas, checking security, stuff like that. This, they're trying to find hospitals that really don't have a lot of security there, and this is stuff that they're planning on implementing.
Looking for weakness, huh?
Yeah. So there's a quick little quick little video that we got about that, and then we're gonna jump into this discussion about it.
Sure.
After a recent threat was reportedly made against hospitals in cities across the country. In a statement, the move is a precautionary measure after the American Hospital Association and Health, ISAC, issued an alert about a social media post. That post claims the terrorist group ISIS-K, a regional branch of the Islamic State, is planning attacks on hospitals in mid-tier cities with low security. The alert says the credibility of the threat cannot be verified right now and that security protocols at hospitals should be reviewed. UK says there is no credible threat to its facilities and that federal authorities are monitoring the situation.
Damn.
Yeah. So we're going to start with you, Aaron. What's your take on this?
Well, like you said, about 8 days ago, it was March 18th was when this information first surfaced. Like you said, the AHA and the ISAC posted about it, warning in a bulletin to the hospitals. The people who first got a hold of this information and posted it was JSOC, which is the Joint Special Operations Command, the CIA, and some combat veterans. Now, somehow they came across this information. I don't know if somebody volunteered it or it was interrogated out of somebody, but they came across it, and they would have had to come across it from more than one source for it to be credible. And then the FBI also issued a similar warning. They said it was a credible threat against the hospitals and what they called a multi-city, I'm going to call it a T plot, because I don't know if we're allowed to say that word or not. But ISIS is looking for soft targets in the United States to hit. Number one on the list was hospitals. Anybody that had contract security. Those are usually old elderly guys or a bunch of young guys that don't know much about security. They just got bodies into place. Now, against your average law-abiding citizens, that's all you need. But against the T-boys that are going to be coming, organized, those guys are way undertrained to be able to take on groups like that. And they're talking about doing it across the United States, all on the same day, all in the same hour. So this is going to be seriously coordinated. Now, and again, most of those contract security guys, they're not even armed. And then the police that you see at the hospitals that are armed had to attend the police academy in order to carry that gun on their hip.
They got their walkie-talkie.
Now,
that's not good enough?
Right. Right. I guess not against the T-boys, it won't be.
Right.
The methods that they discovered that's going to be used are car bombs or truck bombs. It'll look like Oklahoma City, the way they blew the front of the building off. They're talking about armed assaults inside the hospitals. They're also talking about taking over floors or entire buildings and to hold hostages in different scenarios. And then they're talking about more ransomware attacks where they try to cripple the hospitals or the hospital operations more or less. Now, the solution that they came up with that all the hospitals are supposed to do is they're supposed to, all level 1 trauma centers should review their security. I mean, they're probably going to have to hire some real professionals to come in there and not these contract guys. They want them to identify pre-attack reconnaissance, which means they need to be able to identify people coming in there doing reconnaissance. I mean, they're checking the place out. They might be making notes, or they might be filming with their camera, filming where the security stands and different things. You don't know. But how are you going to spot that? I mentioned this to a friend of mine that works at a local hospital here in Dayton. And I said, man, you better watch out for strange looking people coming in there and casing the place and stuff. And he's like, man, there's strange people in here every day. I mean, how would you know who's who? And then the last thing that they said, they want them to implement an emergency response measures now, have a planned response. So, I mean, Are you going to have SWAT teams at the hospitals? I mean, how are you going to handle this? Because your contract security is way undertrained for this type of mission. But I'm gonna stop there for right now. Yeah, I'm gonna stop there and then I'll come back later to cover something else.
Okay, so here's my question. Now, just based off what you said, and they put it out that way. Okay, so
Right.
they've been going through checking everything. They're going up security at these hospitals and stuff because we do know that a hospital is like the number one place that you would go to if you're trying to do something like that. Now, my question is, do you actually take this as being the fact that the way that they put it out? I'm looking at it two ways. Number one, they putting it out, and then of course everybody wibbles. So what you gonna do? You're gonna send all your law enforcement, all that stuff, off-duty cops, whatever. You're gonna have them sitting at these hospitals. Where like, okay, I put this threat out and everybody gets secure, or I put this threat out and you send all your authorities to this place here, thinking that we're gonna hit here, but in all actuality, we're looking somewhere else that gets you out the way. You see what I'm saying there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because hospitals was one of the targets, but so was old folks' homes, so was nuclear energy facilities, so was schools. I mean, a school only has a resource officer there that's usually one guy. I mean, you get a team of people coming in there on one guy. How's he going to be able to handle that? These are all soft targets because of the level of security that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I was
I
asking.
exactly see what you're saying.
Yeah, see, I was asking that being the fact of, the way they came out with it and put
Mhm.
it out like, okay, this is what we're going to do. So I started thinking back based on what was said. Like, okay, did they catch somebody and then this person this person end up telling this is what was going on? Or if they actually
Right.
put that out more of like, like you see in the movies a lot where you have a diversion. You have something go on here, and everybody floods here thinking it's going to go on here, but in all actuality, I'm looking for something over here. But
Yeah.
all your forces is over here, so they're not paying. So that by the time they do figure out that this was just a diversion, I'm not really going here. This over here has already been done, and I'm going on about my business.
Right. I mean, the car bomb could be the diversion to get you all on one side of town while they're hitting on the other side. Yeah, that's definite.
Now, I know we had done shows back in the past where we were talking about that a lot of these countries have actual sales here in the U.S.
Hmm.
They said that China, for instance, that they had a sale in every state in the U.S. and they know that they're here. So going through now what we have going on now with the deportations and the stuff like that, and you know that you have these sales here, why are you not going out to these sales that you know that you know is there, that you know that's a clear and present threat, as opposed to, like, I know you're going to end up getting everybody as you say you're going to. They've been putting out text messages to people, tell them that you got 30 days to turn yourself in and the whole jazz. But if your main goal is to protect the U.S., wouldn't those people be the ones that you would go after first?
I would.
What you think, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Unfortunate. This whole this seems like this is a Middle Eastern tactic, terrorist organization tactic when they use things like hospitals and stuff like that. I think that it's a coordinated effort. Definitely, this whole thing is radical. And yeah, and across our borders, we got to start somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you're right on that. And he got a like I said, you got a lot of stuff that's going on in the Middle East already, which we talked about that last week. Actually, we talked about it a couple different times, but last week more in particular because we actually had airstrikes and stuff like that was going on. So we know that there's actual unrest in the Middle East. We know that, and it's always been unrest in the Middle East, but now it's more to a different magnitude.
Yep, it's ramped up.
Right. So now you got two carrier groups there now. So so it could go real bad there real quick. You know what I mean? And you got the firepower over there that you can make this happen. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking along the lines of, of some of those people that's over there, like, okay, they doing something over there, so it's only right that we do something here. Now we haven't really had what you call an actual terrorist threat since 9/11. You know what I mean? Like you have, we got a lot of domestic stuff that goes on here, shootings, stuff like that, but nothing dealing on an actual terrorist front. But we know that these people are here. And we know that those cells been here, and they just didn't come here. They've been here for a while. So there's nothing really stopping anybody from doing anything.
Sure.
And that they may have their eyes on certain ones, but they surely don't have their eyes on every single person. You know what I mean? It was a lot of people that came over through that southern border. A lot of people that came over during that time.
Hell yeah.
So I'm looking at it more like while everyone is distracted and worried about what's going on over there, and you sending your forces over there and everything that's going over here, then somebody's going to do something. It may not be a hospital. It may be a church. It may be a basketball game. It may be, a football game. It may do something where you can have an actual mass casualty event, because you're not going to just do it just to get 4 or 5 people.
No, you're right.
I mean, so if you're going to do something, then you're going to do something to where you can make a grand statement.
Mm-hmm. And old people homes, all these like collective areas, man. That's rough.
Right. So it's a lot. I mean, so it's a lot dealing with that. You know what I mean? And like I said, you still got a lot going on over there, especially, heavy in the Middle East. But then you got Iran, and you got that back and forth going on this week between them. There's a powder keg over there.
No kidding.
It's a powder keg over there. And I think one of the biggest things here is that a lot of people here don't really worry about stuff like that because it doesn't typically happen here. Like you said, we had 9/11.
We're spoiled in a lot of senses. Right.
We're not used to something like that actually going down.
Not here.
But right now, there is a clear and present danger that this could actually happen at any given time. You know what I mean? So I think not just for the hospitals that need to be looking out for people. I mean, just everybody needs to be paying attention to, stuff that you wouldn't normally be paying attention to. You know what I mean? Now, that don't mean that we're gonna have 200,000 Karens running around. I mean, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we really need to pay attention to your surroundings. If you're not normally, seeing certain vehicles in certain places, and you seeing the same person a couple times in different, in the same spot, but he don't work here, or that that this vehicle here been here for a while, and you ain't never seen nobody go up to it. You know what I mean? Like, start paying attention to the little stuff. You know what I mean? Because it may be something little that goes on that may end up saving somebody's life on the back end. You know what I mean? So I think we need to all start being more alert to your surroundings. You know what I mean? Because it can happen anywhere.
Damn true.
And it's like, once it happens, then we sitting there like, okay, did you hear about such and such went on over there? You know what I mean? Like nobody really thinks about it until it actually hits home. You know what I mean? It
Correct.
hits one of your family members or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Then you think about it. But any other time, it kind of goes in one ear and out the other because, like I said, it doesn't concern me. You know what I mean? And that's kind of one of the big things that we have that goes on here in the U.S. now. The community-wise, everybody don't know everybody, and you kind of mind your own business. You know what I mean? You do your own thing, and you go in the house, and you know what I mean. You don't know your neighbors don't know you. You know, they see you every now and again when you out cutting the grass or whatever. Other than that, they don't know you. You know what I mean? And if
Right.
anything happens, the first thing they say was, "Shit, I don't know." You know what I mean? Nobody's paying attention to nothing. You know what I mean? Everybody's just worried about them. They're not thinking about anybody else, just yourselves. You know what I mean?
Damn.
But
It's true. It's an unfortunate thing, right? I mean, especially because we rarely ever, like you said, we rarely ever get to experience casualty on that. To that level on our soil, it's very rare. So we become, oh, it's not going to happen to us, and if it does, it's going to happen somewhere else. Blah blah blah. Um, we're the ones that usually attack and stuff like that. We're not, our own citizens are not. I don't even know if we could actually handle some of the devastation that could happen. I don't know how people would react in those senses. Now, we saw 9/11, we finally saw a lot of our own people come together as one, but that was 9/11 2001. We're talking 2024, 2025 now, right? And there's a lot more technology, a lot more, in my opinion, I see a lot more dirty moves being played. Now, I'm sure there's always been dirty moves ever since conception of this world, but yeah, it's brutal to see. Damn straight.
yeah, well, we've become comfortable and complacent.
Complacent. That's the word I
What
was
it
looking
is.
for. That was the word I was looking for. Yep.
But then too, you also got to remember, right before 9/11, well, that didn't come out. It didn't come out till later, but intelligence knew that this was going to take place, and they ignored it.
Mm,
So that wasn't a surprise. That it was a surprise to all of us that it took place.
sure.
But they had full intel about this way before it actually happened. But of course, we didn't find out about that until several years later, that it came out about who it was that actually gave the information, that he had been giving out information for years about stuff that was going on. And they actually unalived him a couple days before it took place. So the intelligence had been out with that. You know what I mean? Which is going to go on to something that we're going to be talking about later on. But we're going to have to, overall, I know we can only do so much.
True.
You have these intelligence agencies to do just that. Get intelligence, investigate it, see if it's factual or not. And if it is, do something about it. You know what I mean? Eliminate the situation before it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, we have situations just like this that happened in 9/11 that it was ignored. Nobody took him seriously. Like, oh no, that's not going to happen, and boom, took place. So I seen you had your hand up, Aaron. What you got, brother?
Well, I want to discuss. I want to go a little bit in depth of what I see or I feel is a 3-stage plan that our enemies have in store for us right now. I mean, we have Russia, Iraq, and Iran and China coming against us combined, and that's massive in itself. If terrorism or T attacks start over here, then you're talking chaos. And in forming chaos, I don't think there's no nation out there that can take us on one for one and defeat us in battle. So
Right.
most empires fall from within first. And there's the 3 stages of creating chaos that would cause a nation to implode upon itself. In stage 1, that's going to be isolation. You want to cut transportation. You want to cut communications. You want to make the targets deaf, dumb, and paralyzed as much as possible. That sets up stage 2. Now, how do you make stage 1 happen? You do cyber attacks on phone systems, water systems, transportation, hospitals, pipelines, 9/11 systems, and eventually the power grid. Now, imagine if you can, in 1 week. I'm gonna say this, we've already seen cyber attacks on the phones. We've seen it on the water systems. We've seen it on transportation where they attacked trucking installations and had their drivers confused and delivering to the wrong places. We saw where they directed that ship into that bridge and brought the bridge down. We've seen cyber attacks on the hospitals where they shut down the hospital operating systems in the last 2 years. They shut down a pipeline that caused a gas shortage to the East Coast. We've seen where they've shut down 9/11 systems, which shuts down emergency services. Now imagine in a week, 2 or 3 of these go down. Your phones go down. You can't call for help. 9/11 goes down. So if you got a medical emergency, you can't call in. Pipelines go down, where now gas shortages are going to form, which is going to create a problem on transportation. They mix up the truckers' schedules. They mess up the shipping schedules. They cut off or contaminate the water systems. They shut down the operating systems in the hospitals. And eventually they get around to shutting down the power grid. You would have chaos within 3 days of all that starting to happen. Now, synchronized chaos, that's where you want to terrorize people with covert attacks and misinformation. Now, you want to mentally overwhelm people. And then you do that through cyber attacks, propaganda, and economics. Through economics, we've had the currency war that we've been fighting against the BRIC alliance. Our money, our dollars lost so much money value behind that people are going to McDonald's is putting that on their credit cards now. They can't afford to eat. They got to finance the meal. You got the tariff wars getting ready to start up next week. That's going to put more economic pressure on people. Now, without a clear enemy, most people will start turning on each other. We've seen that happen when COVID went down. Because people said it was a Chinese disease, they started attacking the Chinese people that were over here, innocent people. Didn't have nothing to do with it. Students being beat up, shop owners being attacked, all because they had Chinese in their blood. Our country has become so divided through misinformation from the media that it creates these kind of situations. Right now, you got people that are innocent driving Teslas and they're being shot at, or they're attacking their cars or painting their cars. When that happens, people are letting their emotions overcome their intelligence. They're not thinking how they're being manipulated. They're just getting upset and going after folk. Now, if you do both those stages successfully, the third stage happens on its own. And in the third stage, you have total collapse. If you got terrorism going on and the terrorists are dressing up like police officers or whatever, attacking folks, or dressing up like soldiers and attacking people, that's going to foster loss of trust in the government. People will begin fighting authority and order at that point, and you could run the risk of possible civil war. But everything that I've named has been going on for the last 2 years. I feel all these cyber attacks are trial runs for when the real thing gets ready to happen. Mm-hmm. So I think we're being set up, and it's going to go down, and we're going to have a group of people going up against us. And we already know who the bad actors are, the 4 nations that are going to be coming against us. And China and Russia on their cyber attacks, the groups that they're using seem to get in and out of our systems without even trying hard. And then they put all, like you said in the past show, they put all those back doors in where they can come back in at will and do whatever they want. But they've been testing their systems. They found that they can be successful. It's a matter of time before they make us turn on each other by shutting down our systems. But I'm gonna stop there.
Well, they were there was a report last week. It was in dealing with these hospitals and the cyber attacks. They had in Texas, Indiana, and California had cyber attacks in their medical systems, and they were also complaining that um, a lot of their information had been pulled, and people were getting they were using their information, making uh, going through doing tax returns and all kind of stuff on people from where they done went in and took their information. But when we was talking about the cyber attacks back a while ago, when we was talking about the infrastructure and the water plants and the power grid and stuff, and then we started talking about it dealing with Microsoft and all that when they got hacked. Now, see, the biggest thing dealing with that is Microsoft is global. They're involved in everything. So and you see when they had the CrowdStrike, everything went down, and it all dealt with Microsoft. But Microsoft had a threat prior to that, where they had paid all that money in Bitcoin to get it back because they actually went into the actual source code and put stuff in. That's what we were talking about before. See, when these companies are getting hacked, these hackers are able to get into their actual source code. Now, you may pay $20 million in Bitcoin or $5 million in Bitcoin to get it back, and they'll give it back if you pay the fine, pay the ransom, you get it back. But they don't went into that source code and they add stuff into it. So if they ever need to get back into it, they're not going to sit there and worry about like, oh yeah, let me get
No,
to this
now it's a cheat code to get back in. It's a cheat code. Boom,
you already
back in.
They're going to leave something in there, and they're going to put something in there that you're not. You can run all the scans you want to run, and you're not going to find it. I mean, and if you're not going to, reason why a lot of them not going to find it, well, hell, if everything was going to be found, and they couldn't have gotten into it in the first place. Everything that's made that's dealing with a source code, there's a way to get into it. Everything. So when we're talking about these cyber attacks, I mean, I know a lot of people probably watching then had some form of fashion that something that got hacked, something that you dealing with and got infiltrated or whatever, and they getting that money, and usually it's coming from Russia and China. Everybody knows that. When we were talking about, when we're gonna get into this next part, we was talking about this about the group emails and all that stuff that went on. Now, I didn't know this until today, but Russia and China had already hacked into Signal months ago.
Oh,
but they never told anybody.
That's not even surprising at this point.
They've been able to get into Signal. And now, if you remember back a few months ago, remember they were putting the thing out, they were saying that the Chinese was trying to hack into everybody's phones. So they wanted you to go and start using WhatsApp and start using Signal instead of using your regular messages to keep people out of it. And then they found out later on that they can get into that too. I mean, it's an encrypted app. Yes,
it's supposed to be, right?
But they can get into it.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can get into it, then they can figure out a way that they can get your messages as well. You know what I mean? It's the same. It's like there is no escape when you're dealing with technology, because the same way you made it, you got to find that there's a way to get into it. You
got to protect it.
Right. So it ain't like there's no program that's ever been made that you can't get into. There isn't one. So what do? Be mindful about what you put out. They got all these different ones now that you can put your credit card and stuff in. Ain't none of that stuff safe. Ain't none of it safe. and the first time that you sit here and tell yourself that, oh, I can put all this stuff in here and ain't nothing gonna happen, and you're a damn fool. I mean, everybody's gonna get hacked, and eventually it's gonna come to that point. There's gonna be something. There's gonna be a massive cyber attack. Just the power grid alone will set you back into the Stone Ages.
No kidding.
Just that alone.
No
don't gotta
kidding.
do nothing else. So let's just say, like Aaron was talking about the tariff stuff getting ready to start again next week, all this stuff. Okay, so let's say, for instance, say like Canada decide like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and just cut the power off of, cut it off of Wisconsin and Michigan and New York, and they sit in the dark. What's moving? Nothing. Back in the Stone Ages, nothing.
Again, we're comfortable. Right. We live in this type of society. We don't live out in the jungle chopping down our own shit with machetes, and we ain't doing none of this shit.
Everybody comfortable, and they only gonna pitch a bitch when they're uncomfortable. But as long as everything is good, as long as you can walk in your house and cut on your TV and everything works, and you cut your lights on and everything works, then you're fine.
Yeah, your refrigerator is on and working, no problem.
Yeah, but let that shit go off and see what happened.
Yeah.
How you gonna keep that food from spoiling?
Good luck.
How you gonna be able to get
Do you even
water
know how to
whenever
preserve?
So how you gonna get water whenever you lose power at the water station and the generators run out? How you gonna get your water? How you gonna do this? You know what I mean? Don't nobody think about that. Why? Because they never had to. They never had to think about it.
True. Sad reality, though.
Yeah, it's sad, but it's
the truth.
Right. It's very, very, very true. Very, very, very true. So the second thing
I'm gonna say this. Let me add just one last thing. You let some of those conveniences go down, especially the power, and within 3 days, civility is going to go out the door. The stores are going to get hit first, and as soon as those stores get emptied out, then they're going to start grouping up. They're coming into the neighborhoods to take from each other. We will turn on each other at that point. When people get desperate, they're going to do desperate acts, and there's going to be problems. We will implode upon ourselves at that point. So people should expect it. And these people are trying to create the chaos inside our country, these terrorist attacks and other things that are going to go down, and they'll do it they'll coordinate the whole thing. It'd be synchronized, and then everybody would be caught blindsided. And like I said, they'll go for the stores first, but when they empty out, then they're going to go after their neighbors. So that's just the reality of it.
So we're going to hit this second one, and I'm sure everybody heard about this week. And we're going to bring up this thing dealing with Signal.
Okay.
And what happened. So I'm gonna give like the little rough synopsis of it. Then we're gonna play the video, and then we'll jump into it.
Totally.
So basically, what happened? There was, I don't know. Everybody used Signal. I use Signal.
Me
Signal,
too.
For those who don't use it, it's an encrypted platform.
And crypt end encryption. How do they call it? Encryption, end-to-end encryption. That's what they call it. Yeah.
It's an end-to-end encryption. So basically, if I want to send you a message, I would have to send you an invite. You would have to accept that invite. Once you accept that invite, I can send messages to you.
Right.
Okay. Now, you can have it set on different parameters to where you can keep sitting there going back and forth. You can have it set to where you read the message and the message disappears in 10 seconds.
Yep.
Or 30 seconds or whatever. I mean, you're able to do that. And it's supposed to be an app that is used to where it keeps people out of your business, keeps people from easily going into, like you said, a post like your phone, where they can easily go into. You can use this app here to be able to have conversations that you wouldn't normally want to have on your phone.
Sure.
Because you can say whatever and you can have it set to where as soon as you read it, 10 seconds is gone.
Yep.
Now, it is a public app, like I said. Now, I didn't know until here recently that it had had been hacked before by Russian and the Chinese. But
not surprised.
Neither here nor there. So there was a group chat that went on that consisted with Vice President J.D. Vance, Mike Waltz, who's the National Security Advisor, Pete Hegseth, which is the Secretary of Defense, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, John Ratcliffe, who's the CIA Director, Scott Bassnett, who's the Treasury Secretary, Steve Witkoff is the Middle East and Ukraine envoy, Susie Wiles, who is the White House Chief of Staff, and Tulsi Gabbard, who is the Director. They were all on this group chat discussing what was about to take place with the airstrikes in Yemen.
Correct.
One of these people, Mike Waltz, who is the National Security Advisor
and organizer,
he thought from as they say, we just say this for the sake of argument, he said that he was thinking that he was inviting someone else, but he in turn invited Jeffrey Goldberg, who is a reporter for the Atlantic.
Wait, so he made that claim that, it wasn't supposed to be that guy, which I think all of us here know.
Stop the cap.
Right.
Stop capping, yo.
So that's what he's saying now. So we're just saying for the sake of argument, this is what he's saying.
Sure.
I know it's bullshit, but that's what it sounds like. Anyway, so you got Jeffrey Goldberg on there. Nobody says anything because he just has his initials on there. You would think, though, that if you're having a conversation like this, not everybody has this man's number. So that one will show up strange. You know what I mean? And like as you add people to this group, it tells who joined.
Yes, it does.
Right. It'll say, added J.D. Vance, added this person, added this person. This person was removed. You know what I mean? It tells you that.
Yes, it does.
So they're going back and forth, talking about what's going on. And the actual plan for what was supposed to go on with the airstrikes was put on there. Now, still not knowing that this reporter is on there, he's not commenting on nothing. He's just letting them talk.
He's just watching the whole shit go down.
Right. He's just sitting there watching it. So what does he do? He puts out an article.
Screenshot.
Right. He takes screenshots of everything, and then he puts out an article saying, that they were on signal, and this is what they were talking about. Now, so I heard today when I was talking to some people, and they was like, well, Signal is an encrypted app, so why does it matter? Well, it matters because on government phones, you're not allowed to have Signal on there. So either you broke the rules and put Signal on a government phone, or you were using your personal phone.
Correct.
Now, second thing is that when you added Steve Witkoff to it, Steve Witkoff was in Russia during the time. So,
wow.
So what was keeping him from getting hacked into? Because, usually if you're working for the government and you going to these different countries, they don't let you take your personal phone. They give you a phone just to take to where you're going. It's like a burner. You know what I mean? You use this phone only.
It's security.
Right. You leave everything else here.
Well, because this has GPS in it. Every personal phone. Who knows who's tracking you?
Right. So So they got him in on this call. He's sitting in Russia. And he's on the call. Now, so they going back and forth. And then they say that they go through, hold on. Matter of fact, since we talking about this, let me
we
pull
got
this
it.
up. Since we pull this up, now you know they've been in Congress right now discussing this. We're gonna play the little video about it. They've been discussing this and they've been asking them, were you on this text group? A lot of them don't want to answer it. You only had one that actually said that they were actually on this thing. But let me show you this first. So you have, here's the list of the people that was on this text. Now, you see the first one right there where it says JG?
Yeah, right under add members.
Right. Now, that's Jeffrey Goldberg. That's what they just had him listed as, JG. He's on there. And you see up under there, you got Mike Waltz, you got Scott, you got Walker Barrett, and then
Brian down there. And
next
then,
group,
yep.
you got that's Joe Kent. As we still going down, John Ratcliffe, Susie Wiles, and then finishes off on it. So that's the list of the ones that was actually on there. Now, so at first they were just going through just random little willy-nilly texts. You know what I mean? Just nothing major. Just regular little text.
And, go back real quick on that. It says Mike Waltz set disappearing messages time to 4 weeks. So they're supposed to delete in a month. Got it.
Okay. Then you have, this is one between Pete Hesek and let's see what we got. SM. I don't know who that is. That's
not sure.
That's one of the other ones that's not even listed on here. Now, the issue was there was no war plans given on Signal, right? That's what they keep saying. When they got him, when they did the interview with Pete Hesek, when he got off the plane, he didn't realize that this other stuff was even going on. He said, no, there was no war plans talked about on the group until these messages came out. And the only reason why these messages came out was because they made this guy, this Jeffrey Goldberg, out to be a liar. Like, oh, well, he hacked his way in. He found out a way to hack his way in. No, he didn't. He was invited. He was invited, and it shows how he got on there. It showed how he got invited. Okay. Then they say, okay, well, we didn't discuss any war plans. We didn't talk about anything dealing with that until you have this, which tells the time.
Oh, there it is.
What's being launched, going on
what
down
is being
the line.
used, and time sets. As you guys can see, 12:15, 13:45, 14:10, all of this. Yeah. And this is a chronological time.
Right. So he gave a detailed thing as to what was going to happen in the time that it was going to happen. So you can't now say that you didn't do it.
Right.
You did do it.
Yep.
You did do it.
Well, it's right there. It's right there.
So now I just showed you that. Now let me play for you this little quick video here, because these are some of these same ones that was on this group. Now sitting before Congress, don't want to talk. Check this out.
Director Gabbard, did you participate in the group chat with Secretary of Defense and other Trump senior officials discussing the Yemen war plans?
Senator, I don't want to get into the specifics.
Ma'am, were you on? You're not going to be willing to address. So you're not. Are you denying? Matt, will you answer my question, ma'am? You were not TG on this group chat.
I'm not going to get into the specifics.
So you refuse to acknowledge whether you were on this group chat.
Senator, I'm not going to get into the
Why
specifics.
are you going to get into the specifics? Is it because it's all classified?
Because this is currently under review by the National Security
Because
Council.
it's all classified? If it's not classified, share the text now.
As the White House previously
Is it classified or non-classified information on this text?
I can confirm.
Director Radcliffe, were you on the group chat?
Senator, I was on a signal messaging group.
This was not only sloppy, it not only violated all procedures, but if this information had gotten out, American lives could have been lost. The Houthis had this information, could reposition their defensive systems. So I want to get a little more information about this.
You know, and it's funny because I don't even like, I really dislike that senator, or congressman, whatever. The truth is he's right though. He's right there. You can't even argue that one.
No. And you think now you have intelligence protocols that are set up for a reason. That's the reason why they put those phones out there. What do you have? The fact these folks so at this point. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right there.
Like this could have been smoothed over.
It could have been a 5-minute segment.
On time. I messed up. You know what I mean? Suffer your little consequences and go on.
Yeah, take your lumps.
You know what I mean? Yep, take your lump and go on.
And continue on. It could have been a 5-minute ordeal. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, I totally fucked up. You know what I mean? And guess what? This is what we're going to do to prevent this from ever happening again. It will never happen again. And totally my fault, though. And not shift blaming, just going, it's my fault. And then guess what? You know what? Yeah, that is negligent. Totally. It is negligent. But guess what? We're going to move on because we always do, you know? And he totally kind of shot himself in the foot, meaning Mike Waltz, on his questioning even this morning or last night on Ingram, right? But he kind of did the same thing where he was reiterating, well, yeah, it's my fault, but realistically, it's the reporter that is looking for fame, looking for this. And it's like, whoa, hold on. It couldn't have happened without you making that happen. So you can't complain about that, right?
Now, you know, when I was looking at that, there's a couple different ones to blame on it. Now, of course, you got the ones that, you know, that was just chatting on it. Of course, they didn't know. They didn't know that this guy was on there. So the only ones that's actually in trouble with this would be Mike Waltz and Pete Hessek. But then you go a little further and you're like, okay, all of y'all is going to be in trouble because none of y'all should have been on signal in the first fucking place.
Kidding. No kidding. Yep.
None of y'all should have been on signal. Now, let's say, for instance, that Mr. Goldberg was not on that call. He was not on the chat, which meant this right here, nobody would have knew about, and they would continue to have been sitting here talking about stuff that they shouldn't be talking about on signal. You know what I mean? Because you think about it like this. Signal is only as secure as the devices and the people that use it.
Yeah, damn straight.
That's it.
Damn straight.
So if you use it carelessly, what's going to happen? It's going to leak. You're going to get leaks out.
I mean, now, us little guys have the fucking text messages right here. You know what I mean? That was what, like, announced that it got leaked yesterday, last or this morning type of thing. Like, I mean, it was a big headline this morning. I don't know if it was an ordeal last night or something like that. But I'm sure it was. But nonetheless, look, we got it right here, right now. And it's like 24 hours later. Boom. Like, we should not have access to this.
Right. You know, there was some other messages. I didn't put all of them on here, but there was some messages on there where it was said, you know, such and such is literally walking down the street going to his girlfriend's house. And then it shows another message like, oh, never mind, we got him. You know what I mean? But I didn't show the rest of the conversations on there that I have. And the reason why
Probably a lot of
because
unnecessary.
it's because, well, it's unnecessary, but it's also like, it's like somebody holding a magnifying glass to some ants and you sitting
Yeah,
back
right.
laughing about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the rest of the conversations were.
Was right. Got you.
You know, was like, oh, well, you know, good for them. Glad we got them. This, I mean, and
Right.
it kind of seemed like you got a group of people just sitting there waiting to hear about them getting somebody.
Yeah, them getting glassed.
And then praising the fact that you did.
Right.
You know, knowing that with those airstrikes, you killed more civilians than you did actual people you was going after. Now you may have got some Houthis in the process.
Sure.
But you unalived a lot of civilians there. You know what I mean? And when you read the rest of those messages, and I'm pretty sure, you know what I mean, the same way I got them, it'll get out to where everybody else can actually read them, and you can see for yourself that it's literally like somebody standing there with a magnifying glass shining on some ants. You know what I mean? And you like you liked it. You know what I mean? Giving you know, elbows and hearts and fist pumps and all that. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah,
you know
we just glassed all these people. Boom. Hell yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
They have some kind of oof to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because they could, like, it was the main reason why I didn't put it all out there. I didn't want to, because it just kind of made me sick.
No, that's class. That's class that you didn't.
But then when you look at this, like I said, they going through Congress now, trying to cover all this up line, you know. And then you have a lot of them that sit there and be like, well, you know, it's really not no big deal. You know, it's really not a big deal, blah, 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 blah. Now, you know damn well that if the shoe was on the other foot, y'all be up there kind of trying to get somebody removed, putting up articles to get them kicked off the job, whole bit. Now, let's keep it 100 across the board. You fucked up. Big time. You know what I mean? And you got to pay the consequence for that. You know what I mean? Which means your ass shouldn't have a job. That's what that means.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You ain't never heard of no other Secretary of Defense get caught for doing some stupid shit like that. None of them.
You're right. You're right.
You know what I mean? He should
pay. It's an unfortunate event, but you're right about that.
Right. He needed to take his ass on back over to Fox.
No kidding, right?
Because you sure ain't no Secretary of Defense. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's crazy.
It's a totally wild ordeal. And you know what? A lot of this can be avoided. What we're even doing now can be totally avoided if Homeboy just took accountability. You know, I mean, we may talk about it for a little bit. We may discuss it in briefing or just in passing. But when someone denies something and it's evident, we can't be playing that kind of silly ass game. Just can't do that.
Well, you know, there was a number of people that worked for the FBI, CIA, NSA, different ones that had talked and said, like, yeah, we use Signal all the time, but we don't talk about business. When we get to the point we got to talk about business, then we use another phone.
Right. You're supposed to use your government, whatever messaging system that you guys got that's safe and you guys run that shit. Yeah, exactly. But like you said, they're not supposed to be on here in the first place.
Right. You know, so they never made a thing saying, well, okay, you can never use Signal. They just said that you can't use it on government issued phones. You know what I mean? And like, if you were just sitting there shooting a jive with all those people,
sure,
then it would have been fine. You could have done that. But when you start putting down exactly what's getting ready to go on and when it's going on and who doing what, and it's another page to that as to what all went down on there. Now you talking about business. You never should have put it on there. You hit.
You're right.
You know what I mean? So all you ones is sitting there talking about, oh, well, I don't want to answer the question. It's still under review. Hell, it ain't under review. The damn messages is out now.
Yeah,
They're out.
you can't help it now. It's
Right.
done.
They're out. Everybody has seen it now. They're out. They know you're lying. You know what I mean? So now what? Now you got a whole group of you just got caught lying. All of you done got caught lying.
Totally. And they did.
And then when they go to Trump, what did he say? I don't know nothing about it. I didn't know they was on there. Which he didn't. He didn't, because one of the messages said that they were going to go to him after and talk to him. So he really didn't know.
Honestly, yeah, I wouldn't blame homeboy, meaning Trump, that he ain't gonna know what type of side chats are happening. That listen, me and you can create a signal group in 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, I can do that without Aaron knowing easily.
Oh yeah, I mean it's super easy. I mean I use Signal just every day. You know what I mean?
Yep, me too.
I mean, there's certain people that just want to talk on Signal. Okay, cool. Talk on Signal.
Yep.
And like I said, you put a message on there, you look at it, and poof, it's gone. But this one wasn't set up that way. They didn't go through and set it up to where you can read the message disappeared and all that. Now, if they'd have done that, they may have got away with it, because by the time unless he was just sitting there just instantly, just click, 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 click as it was going through. If you had the actual timer set on it, probably would have got away with it. You know what I mean? But not everybody is tech savvy enough to realize all the functions that goes along with Signal, and your ass got caught. So
sadly, that's true. Totally.
Right. It's what it is.
Totally.
Just fess up. You know what I mean? Fess up and take your lumps like everybody else. Go on to the house.
No one's above, and that's the problem, is all these politicians think that they are invincible in every sense of the word. So, for them, we'll just lie about this situation and then it'll just blow over. Well, I honestly look at this, and, I'm running in politics 2026 here in Alabama, right? And I truly, as I was reviewing this footage this morning regarding this whole ordeal with Mike Waltz, I was like, you know what? I'd be honest with the whole situation and be like, listen, it is what it is, man. Like, it'd be so much easier to do that. And then the cleanup would be so much easier. But instead, if you do half truths and you just speak half truths and not tell the whole story, unfortunately, this is when people go, well, I need to know the whole freaking story. And so they go digging and digging until enough pressure is happening. Yeah, you're going to get some information.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But we're going to see. So we're going to see what happens with all this. You know what I mean? Like I said, ain't no point in lying now. It's already out there.
No, now it's done.
Yeah, it's done. You already busted now. So all you ones that lied before, now they're going to go back and call you right back in and be like, okay, so why'd you lie?
Exactly. Yep. You're right.
And if I can't trust you on that, if I can't trust you to tell the truth on that, and you know who's going to find out eventually, I can trust you to do anything else. How can anybody trust you to do anything else?
You can't.
No.
You can't trust them if they're doing that. No.
Yeah. So you got anything, Aaron, before I run this down?
No, that's it.
You know what? I ain't never heard him say no. I don't have nothing.
I haven't either. I've never heard that either.
The only thing I got to say is,
I knew he had.
There he is.
People need to go out and make their purchases now, because everything's going to cost more money next week. So take advantage of this weekend and stock up on some things, because your money's going to go a lot further this weekend than it will next week.
When does that actually start? When does that tariff actually start?
I think they're on April the 3rd.
April 3rd.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, like I said, thank everybody for coming out. Like always, I appreciate you. Much love to all of you. Like, follow, share, subscribe. You get off. Make sure you get off. Hit the button. Share the program with somebody. Those of you that's on my side, go over and click on Mike's link so that he can get a like. Those of you on Mike's side, come over and click on my side so we can get this out.
Great. Yep. Damn straight.
Also, go on there and check out the store. We got a lot of good stuff on there. I looked at some of the stuff that other people done got, and man, it's really good quality stuff. To go on there, check it out. And like I said, thank you all. Next week, same time, same bat channel. We're gonna do it again with another story. And peace and love to everyone. Go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, I'll just reiterate and get out there and get your purchases made before you get into next week. So, and as long as you're stocking up now, I mean, if we get ready to get into a war with Iran, and Iran blocks that Strait of Hormuz, and the Houthis are blocking the Red Sea, gas is going to get expensive. So you might want to get an extra can or two of gas around the house, put some stabilizer in it. I say a smart man will take the precaution. So I'll stop there.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for hanging out with us. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It's #1 metric of all of YouTube. Helps out the show immensely. And like Archbishop said, make sure you guys go over on my side, go over there on the Diamond Effect podcast, and make sure you guys like and subscribe over there as well. If you guys haven't already, as you guys should, I expect that out of you. Listen, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys here in 7 days. Stick around on my side, at least. We're going to be rating our buddy Chris Lestrange. Stick around for that. And also stick around for our little advertisement on the merchandise that we were Archbishop was just speaking about. Aaron and AB, man, I can't thank you both enough for the immense knowledge as always. And until 7 days from now, man, much love, honor, respect to you both. And we'll see you guys very soon. Much love.